This is Rachel Kirkland here, the Modern Shaman, and thanks for joining me for a question and answer time. So this one is pretty simple. I had to get ready for it before I started this question because I read it, and basically I just had a viewer write in and asked if I had any books that I could recommend. And she didn't really say what type of books, and I'm a reader, so I have a ton of books, and it was funny because I just went through, I don't know, let me move this, see if you can see this. I started going through my library of books and, bedside table and all this stuff to pull out books that I thought, gosh, what would be relevant? And I love so many different things, and I'm inspired by so many different things. It was tricky for me to pick. But this is my video of little book reviews, okay, of books that I love or that have inspired me in some way. And I'll just give you a little description of them, and then maybe it will be helpful to you in whatever way you are wanting to grow. Okay? Okay. So first up, let's do this one. So this is Dorian Virtue, Ascended Masters, Archangels and Ascended Masters, and this just has a list of each Archangel and Ascended Masters and kind of what they're known for in terms of it reminds me of kind of how to pray to the saints, so to speak, what each of the Ascended Masters and Archangels can be particularly helpful for and what their resonant energy kind of upholds. So how to kind of call out to them when there are particular things that you're going through that you would like divine guidance in, or that you would like to channel. Maybe you're going through an issue that involves I don't know, relational struggles, and there may be archangels or ascended masters that are known for having transmuted that energy. So this is kind of a little list of them. It's helpful. Okay, in terms of shamanic stuff, this is a great one. This is Sandra Ingram. She has a ton of stuff out there about shamanic work, but just basics about shamanic journeying. I love the little CD at the end. It's got a really great tracks to journey to and meditate to, because when you're doing your own journeying, you can't drum for yourself, you know what I mean? I guess you could, but for me, I like to sit and listen to it. So it's got a great little CD there, and just kind of gives an introduction if you're not familiar with shamanism and how to do shamanic journeys. Okay, let's see what else. I'm going to try and go fast, and I don't have anywhere to put these books after I go through them. Okay, another shamanic one which I loved is Shamanic Wisdom in the Pyramid Texts. So it's the pyramid texts, are the oldest known texts, like the Emerald Tablets, in written form, and it's all of the shamanic wisdom that's been found in the pyramid text. It's pretty lengthy and pretty detailed, you know what I mean? They go through each different description, but another awesome text. Spiritual Approach to Astrology. I loved this one. This is Myrna Loftus, and she kind of gives a different approach. Sorry, it said my battery was low. A different approach to astrology that includes a lot of Edgar Cayce's information and channelings. And if you're not familiar with Edgar Cayce, let's go there. So this is this is Edgar Cayce's. This is my favorite one of his. He has tons of books, all different topics, but this is my favorite one. It's called The Companion, and it's a collection of just kind of his most popular, I guess, channelings that he did. He was the sleeping prophet, if you're unfamiliar with him. He would fall asleep, and they would ask him all these questions, and he would go to the Akashic Records and just channel information. But that one's my favorite of his. I have a couple other ones in here of his, but so on auras and energy healing, this is one of my favorites. Barbara Brennan, Hands of Light. She used to be a NASA physicist, I think. So she goes through a lot of like scientific detail on the auras, gives a lot of like numerical data, which is really cool, and then lots of practice activities. There's the numerical data for you. I can't remember what I just turned to, but anyways, see, I wrote through. I'm such a writer in my books. I take notes and write everywhere, but good diagrams, and then each chapter, I believe, this book has like activities where you can practice it. I love that kind of stuff too, so it gets really practical. You know who else does that is Jack Schwartz. He's also writes about energy work. This is called Exercises for Creative Meditation and Activating the Potential of the Chakras, Voluntary Controls. And he gives a lot of great, really practical practice activities. I love that kind of stuff when it comes to books, of how to just develop and strengthen your energetic awareness. So this also includes meditation techniques. So not just practicing on yourself and others, but also internal awareness, which he's great at, Jack Schwartz. He has a couple of books that I love. Native American stuff. I love the Cherokee stuff written by Garrett and Michael Garrett. This is a father-son combo, and their stuff is just really practical. They've got some great ceremonies and traditions that they mention in here, and this one's just called the Cherokee Full Circle. If you're interested in Native American. Thich Nhat Hanh, another favorite. I have lots of his books. This is called You Are Here. I have one called The Art of Communication, I believe. Also just meditative awareness and consciousness and happiness and self-awareness. Love it. Along the same vein, Paramahansa Yogananda. This is called The Yoga of Jesus. I also have several of his, Autobiography of a Yogi, and I can't think of the other ones that I've got in here. But brilliant. Again, self-awareness and kind of inner teachings of meditation and such. Awesome channeler, Cryon. I have a ton of his books also. I think this is, I'm not sure, this is book 11 in his series, and he goes up to 15 or 16 now, I think. So I just grabbed one, but these are channeled texts, and Cryon, if you're unfamiliar with him, is the kind of magnetic energy of the grid of around Earth, and it's a collective consciousness that Lee Carroll channels. Beautiful information, though. Brilliant. I love it. This is my favorite, like, feng shui book. On another topic, if you're into feng shui and the awareness of energy and the things around you, so practical. Love this book. It's called Move Your Stuff, Change Your Life. I've got a ton of feng shui books, but this one's my favorite. So there's that one. Okay. Oh, Michael Newton, also fantastic author. He was a hypnotherapist that studied the space in between lives, not just past life regression, but the time that you spend in the afterlife in between your lives. So this one's called Life Between Lives, but he also has his first book, which I've given away so many copies I couldn't find one. It's called Journey of Souls, and Michael Newton, love it, brilliant. Carolyn Misses, I was like, Anatomy of Spirit. This is another great one about the chakras and kind of the emotional connections. It's like psychotherapy crosses with like aura and chakra awareness. These are my favorite, like, poetic ones. Cahill Gibran, The Prophet, beautiful, just brilliant. Rumi, it's my favorite Rumi book. Bridge of the Soul, another awesome. Again, they're just religious poets, but there's so much meditative awareness in reading poetry like that, spiritual poetry. It's like you can read a little bridge and just meditate and contemplate on it as a form of meditation. Here's another Thich Nhat Hanh. Art of Communication. Another Edgar Casey. Oh, Paulo Coelho also. Love his stuff. He wrote The Alchemist, and this one's called Manuscripts Found in Akara. It's another great one. They are like, they, are fictional, but they're fictional in terms of like, the story, and it follows a character that learns all of these life lessons, and it's taught kind of through analogy. Osho, I have a million books from Osho also. Love him. This one's called Courage, the Joy of Living Dangerously. Love that one. There's another one that I'm reading right now. It's a relationship one from Osho called Love, Freedom, and Aloneness. It's brilliant. Let's see. Another channeled material, the raw material, channeled in the 80s. This is just, this is book one, and there's a few, and these are actually online available in PDF for free. But I like just having the actual version so I can write and highlight and stuff like that in it. It's brilliant, brilliant channel material. Another inspirational writer, Alan Watts, The Way of Zen. Love this one. Just gets you into another kind of state of awareness beyond self. This is a cool one. A client told me about tying rocks to clouds, and I've kind of had fun with this one. It's like small little vignetted chapters of different religious, inspiring religious people, and they ask questions about life. So it's kind of like a Q&A of all these different spiritual speakers. It's interesting. I loved it. As far as Tantra, totally different topic. This is a favorite. I can't remember if I already... In some of my Tantra videos, I go through different books because someone asked about that, but this is a great one. It's called Jewel and the Lotus. It's one of my favorite ones in terms of couples. Not a lot of like self-practice, but a lot of practical stuff for couples, and it goes through lots of different breathing techniques and stuff like that. Physical, mental, and emotional alignment with the body. Let's see. What else? These are both more Jack Schwartz. Human energy systems, and the path of action, which is more on meditation. But again, very practical and doable exercises. And this is a fun Elizabeth Gilbert. I always like her. She's funny. You guys know her. This one's called Big Magic. It's inspiring. And I think that's all for now. I have a lot of other ones, but I'm running on 12 minutes, so hopefully, I know I ran through that like crazy quickly, but hopefully you'll find something in there that kind of stood out to you as like, ooh, I'd like to learn about that. Love you guys.